Welcome to the second edition of the Dead Bat Report. I'm your host, Desmorantene D. Bat, and here's a roundup of the dumb shit the elite sociopath ruling class has done as of late. President Joe Biden commits a war crime. Again. Much like the Obama White House in which Biden was VP, the now Biden administration, without congressional approval or declaration of war, has bombed an Iranian-backed militia in the sovereign state of Syria in retaliation for an Iraqi militia rocket attack on a US airbase that was perpetrated by Iraqis in Iraq. Even Pentagon stenographer The New York Times, which is supposed to be a check on power, not an agent of it, stated, "Little is known about the group, including whether it is backed by Iran." Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez tweeted her disapproval of the move, saying, quote, "Here is the profound danger of what we just did in Syria. A mad king president with majority disapproval of Americans just decided to bomb a nation without the constitutional requirement of congressional approval." Shit. Sorry. That tweet was dated from the 15th of April, 2018, when President Trump bombed Syria for equally bullshit reasons. She, in fact, has remained completely silent about President Biden's absolute disregard and violation of international law. That's what I admire about AOC: consistency. Pentagon spokesman John Kirby said, "We acted in a deliberate manner, aiming to de-escalate the overall situation in both eastern Syria and Iraq." When asked about the illegal airstrikes, President Biden first asked where he was and then said, quote, "I think I made poopy in my pants." This just in. Another missile attack on an American base has just occurred in Iraq. One private contractor, a mercenary, died of a heart attack. I think maybe spokesman Kirby doesn't actually know what the word de-escalate means. Probably just a typo.
Anybody know of any terrorist attacks coming up soon?
In medical news, Bill Gates is still not a doctor. Despite the billionaire college dropout giving the planet the most virus-ridden computer programs in human history, he is lauded as a vaccine guru and having the answers to the COVID crisis. Being an expert in the field of vaccine because he said so, Gates, quote, "wants to vaccinate every man, woman and child," and has repeatedly stated that his visionary vaccine program is, quote, "the final solution." The final solution? He actually said that?
And then the final solution, which is a year to 2 years off, is the vaccine.
I guess effectively buying the World Health Organization, funneling tens of millions to media and fact-checking organizations, is ample substitute for any qualification in any field of medical science. Continuing with our report in the Middle East, Israel has mandated an electronic tagging system for all incoming travellers and returning citizens in the fight against the spread of the more infectious variants of COVID-19. Despite SARS-CoV-2 COVID never being isolated or purified in any lab setting since the outbreak, we are still able to sequence new strains of the virus because stop thinking and don't ask questions. Euphemistically named freedom bracelets, these bracelets will track a person's movement for the duration of their quarantine period and will be monitored by authorities including Israeli spy agency Mossad. When asked about the controversial program, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said, quote, "Chill. Since when in human history did a trace and tracking system ever be abused for the purpose of singling out or persecuting any one group or race of people?" In political news, after winning an Emmy and writing a book on how to kill 15,000 elderly New York care home residents, Governor Andrew Cuomo is in the headlines again, but this time for allegations of sexual misconduct with staffers and a journalist. There aren't many cases that more vividly capture and demonstrate the repeated false narrative by the mainstream media and Hollywood lionizing such a despicable and corrupt piece of shit. Far from being the masterful COVID-19 crisis manager, Cuomo's administration is under investigation for alleged manipulation of statistics on nursing home deaths. Far from being the no-nonsense decisive hero of New York wine mum Democrats and even Fauci, another absolute fraud, becoming avid Cuomo-sexuals, he stands accused of sexually harassing much younger women who worked for him. Personality-based politics that buoyed Cuomo and now threatens to sink him are increasingly out of step with the problems and reality of today's world. Perhaps he'll get an Oscar for this latest performance. This is Dead Bat signing off.
Hear you, I think it's a filter.
It is, and I don't know how to remove it.